Welcome to our esteemed panel of clinicians.
Thanks, David. I really appreciate you having us here. One thing I want to start by saying is I really want to thank Sirona, Landmark 360, and the whole team here that is putting this production together because, frankly, speaking for all the journalists here, this is a tremendous opportunity to talk to a esteemed board like this on a one-on-one basis in front of an entire excited group of people. And that is something we rarely get a chance to do. So thank you first about that. And I wanted to start with my first question to the panel on continuing education. Aegis Communications and our brand of production is all about continuing education, whether it's CDE World, Inside Dentistry, Compendium, or IDT. We're really about bringing education to our readership and our viewership. So the first thing I'd like to ask the panel, from your personal experience here so far, what is it that somebody that comes to this event is going to be able to take home to their practice and implement right away to make better patient decisions?
I think they're going to learn a lot. I think you're going to go to the different breakouts and you're going to pick up on your pearls. You're going to learn how to use the software better. You're going to learn all the different indications that you have for the CEREC software, things that you might not be doing. You might be using the CEREC machine in a very simplistic manner. I'm doing just, routine dentistry. But then you go hear a guy like James Klim or Mike Scramstead or, one of the other great clinicians that we have that you can do a whole lot more. Right now, I believe Dr. Frank Spear is speaking, and his topic is on better diagnosis. So you're going to take away stuff that you don't necessarily were even aware that you could do with the technology that you own.
The second question I have for you, and it's actually goes back to what you just said. Patients that are out there that may be wondering, we know this for a fact, there are a lot of people out there that are suffering with poor dentition. And it changes their whole lives in many ways. From a social aspect, from an economic aspect, they're not comfortable getting out and smiling, and that affects a lot of things in their lives. Companies like Sirona and products like CEREC that actually make that difference and allow them to get that transformation in one day. Can you explain to me a little bit about how powerful that is, especially in a day when people are used to instant gratification through smartphones and other devices?
I think what this technology allows the clinicians to do is to capture the patients in the moment. And if they're able to use the resources that they have, the assets as you call them, these incredible resources that allow you, because Dr. Spear says you can only do what you see and you only see what you know. And so of course you still have to be a great clinician, but these resources allow you to behave like any good organization outside dentistry does today, because we're not competing with dentists. We're competing for the patient's time and their resources, because when you talk about doing it in a day, it's the kind of dentistry that's not going to get covered by insurance. So the patient is making the decision to invest in themselves, and you've got to create that environment and that moment, and you have to be ready when they're ready. It used to be you had to be ready, and then when you were ready, they could get the dentistry done. As a clinician now, in the world that we live in, you have to be ready when the patient is ready.
Tagging onto that concept, the other thing I've seen in 30 years since I've been in this technology, patients feel safe. Safety is huge on making decisions because I've been through that journey of building my practice in different ways, but I'm in that journey of, wow, patients feel safe because they feel like we're really paying attention to detail.
Yeah, no, and I just wanted to kind of piggyback on what you guys said. All that I 100% agree, but then you have to have the clinician make the decision to take advantage of the education that's available to them. So often we walk around these halls and I'll have people stop me and say, hey, I'm kind of using my technology. I'm not 100% proficient. Well, why? I mean, you have great online resources on CERECdoctors.com. We've got seminars. We've got all sorts of different avenues for that clinician to make the maximum use. You invested a lot of money into the technology. Take advantage of it. Use it to the fullest. Learn how to use it properly. And at the end of the day, the dollars that you spend on the education is minimal compared to what it can return to your practice in the terms of the ROI story that we've talked about before.
Terrific. Jeff Slovin spoke today very passionately about transformation.
Yes.
Not only transformation for Sirona, but for a private practice, for a staff, and inevitably transformation for the patient. Can you three tell me what you took away from his speech today?
Transformation is about making choices. And I think when you enter this into the digital highway with great educational people. The Spear Center, I represent digital enamel. That journey to me it's easier, it's smoother now, because success is climbing that mountain, and learning from the mountain experience. But the journey is so inclusive now, and that's what I heard from Jeff. It's just not technology, it's the passion of who we are, how the company directs that, because we're passionate about what we do, and that's contagious.
Yeah, I think Jeff's message was outstanding, but what I really believe hidden in that message was the 200 engineers and the 5 to 6% of revenues that go into innovation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, as Steve Jobs, when he was alive, would say, it is our job to innovate on behalf of the client. And I think this merger and the commitment that they have to R&D, they take their job to innovate on behalf of the patient, and then all the way to the clinician. I think that's what's exciting to me about what just happened this morning.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the nicest things, the most impressive things I've learned with Sirona, being around for several years. It's just always about the evolution of moving forward. They're never happy with just being here today. They always want to be the true trendsetter and forward thinker.
New sweet spot every year.
Yeah,
And
it's
David,
amazing.
that's exactly why we love coming to events like this. From a media standpoint, I can't think of a company that I'd be more excited to be around. There's that amazing energy and the evolution, even just from 27 and a half to 30. It's changed so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree. It's a lot of fun to be around everybody around here, to see all the new stuff. And just to get back to the Jeff Slovin story, what inspired me was the story of his son. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what the next 30 is going to be like.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even fathom it.
Yeah.
When I look at the technology, we're going back to 27 and a half. Just the technology there and 20, what it'll be in the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, I hope that all of us are still here 30 years from now so
Yeah.
we can revisit this conversation.
That'd be fantastic.
Sure.
Easier for you than me.
Mark, thank you for coming
My
by today. Any closing comments or questions that you can think of? That
I'm just very appreciative to be here, as we mentioned at the
Yeah.
beginning, and thank you to the entire Sirona family for having us. We're going to be tweeting out about this through our social media. We're going to have a lot of videos coming out over the next few days. You'll be able to see them on our site, Dental Ages. So thanks again, and we're just excited to be here and report what's going on.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, as we have and will throughout the entire day, coming to you live from the Venetian in Las Vegas. We'll be right back.